Hey everyone, I wanted to introduce you to two artists I wanted to feature real quick before we get rolling with the Johnathon Ford interview I had, or chat, I should say. And the first artist is Nate Parrish, who you've seen before and I've chatted with before. Great guy, great art. So go to nateparrish.com and you could check out his napkin art, his prints on wood, cards, t-shirts, digital stuff. He's got all kinds of stuff that you can check out. And then another is a lady named Avra Cadaver is her screen name. And you can check her out on Instagram and Twitter. And she's got some really cool prints of a lot of pop culture icons and celebrities, music icons. And one of them that stuck out to me was Morrissey, this first one I'm going to show you here. And you can go to her, I'm going to post a link or a screenshot for Etsy page that you can go and check out all of her prints and the option to buy them. Check her out, check Nate out, and give them some love and support and follow them. And I will talk to you later.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Stage Diving with Scotty. My special guest here is Johnathon Ford of Unwed Sailor and Roadside Monument and Pedro the Lion. I mean, you've kind of done it all. A big, vast time of thank you for being on my show.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to throw it out there that the new song Blitz, and I think I did Twitter it to you, or tweet it to you, not Twitter it to you. Good job, Scott. It's funny because I wanted to say, when I said hopeful, it made me think of one word, hopeful. I just wanted to compliment you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, especially with Unwed Sailor, that's kind of my go-to is the melancholy thing. You know, the like reflective melancholy, hopeful but sad. That's just that kind of music I've just always been drawn to, even as a little kid. You know, like if you listen to a lot of like 80s, not even the 80s alternative stuff, like The Cure and The Smiths and New Order, which are like my trinity, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you listen to like a lot of pop 80s music, there's just this underlying kind of hopeful, weird sadness, reflection, kind of melancholy in it, and it's like mixed in. I mean, even Heaven is a Place on Earth, Belinda Carlisle, like that's like a hit, but there's something mixed in there that has this like melancholy sadness a little bit to it.
Yeah.
And that's the music that had a huge impact on me in the 80s. You know, I listened to that stuff all the time. So I think it comes out in what I write, just because I was so immersed in it as a kid. And even today, I mean, 80s music is like my number one. Like I just, anytime I'm in like a business or a grocery store, a restaurant or anything, and 80s music is playing, I'm just always happy. Like it always just lifts my spirits or does something to me that it makes me feel comfortable where I am. Like I can like be myself. It's really there's some restaurants that I go to just because they'll do like the satellite radio thing, and it's always on station, and it's like an 80s station. So even if I don't like the food, I'll just go just because, so I can be in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if I ever like go into like, there's like a dance club or like a club or bar or something, and 80s music is playing, it's just like I'm not leaving like until they stop. It's just yeah, it's so important to me.
I don't mean to sound weird, but it's funny because for the longest time, when I was when 80s music was referenced to me by like my wife or other friends, for some reason I go straight to the glam rock. I don't go to like New Order or Smiths or anything like that. My brain automatically went to like, the hair rock, whatever you call it.
Huh?
And so they always like left a bad taste in my mouth when people would mention 80s, 80s music. And that's what I would think of. And not till about like 5 years ago, maybe a little longer than that. It was my wife's birthday, and she wanted to have an 80s themed birthday of like 80s music,
Right?
80s movies. Yeah. You would have been so happy. You would have come on over.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it was funny. And I was making a playlist for her, and I started going through some of that stuff and going, this is really good music. I really deprived myself of some really good 80s music. Even stuff I've heard before to stuff I hadn't heard before. It's just like I deprived myself of that, and there is a lot of, and now I listen to it like regularly, very complimentary, because it's so good, and you hit it well. Like you could listen to it now and think it was made back in the 80s. That's all, like you've captured it. It's so great, man.
Well, thank you. And also, just to let you know, don't be too quick to dismiss hair metal. There's a lot of great stuff there. And I actually like Def Leppard Hysteria, one of my favorite albums of all time. It's an incredible album. And it's not, the fact that they had like 20 singles off that record, and they were all just like incredible hits. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the song Hysteria, like the guitars are just so incredible, and are a influence on Unwed Sailor's music for sure.
Yeah.
White Lion, that band, a huge influence on me in Unwed Sailor.
Really? Wow.
Absolutely. I mean, Van Halen, even the Sammy Hagar era. I mean, just Dreams, like that song. Like there's so much good stuff that is just, it's easy to overlook because of the image and the imagery. But man, those guys like wrote some really good songs that have stood the test of time and will continue to. Yeah. So don't dismiss it right off. Like grab Hysteria. Just start with Hysteria.
Okay.
Pull that out, and don't get bummed when Pour Some Sugar on Me comes out. Like the guitar work in that song, I love. Like there's tricks they do that I always have up my sleeve for Unwed Sailor songs. And that's,
yeah, you know what? That song, the one thing I admit is, again, that's what's cool about what I'm doing with this little thing is it's about the stages of my music journey. And and one of them is I like to learn or go back and listen to stuff that maybe I disregarded before. And I've learned my lesson because I like a lot of stuff now that I didn't like before. I'm just in that stage of my life where I'm like, I appreciate what it is instead of just being that guy who just like, oh, that sucks. That's a dumb song, or they suck, that kind of thing. So that said, with Def Leppard and Pour Some Sugar on Me, the one part that sticks out to me as a guitarist, and I love it, is that bridge when it's that the hitting hard with the drums, and also the just I love how clean that is.
Well, the part that out to me on that song is, if you'll notice on the first chorus, they do the basic power chords.
Yeah.
The Pour Some Sugar on Me, like what is it? Dun dun. It's like basic. Then on the second chorus, they do those foundational chords, but the other guitar player comes in and does this one note.
Yes.
That rides out over the chord progression, and it's like, whoa! It lifts the song to this next level, and it's on the second chorus, so they're building it. I mean, they're thinking about it. Yeah. There's so much great stuff in music. Like, growing up, as a preteen teenager, I was super into like punk rock and alternative music and skateboarding, and this was pre-Nirvana. So you'd get beat up for skateboarding, you know, or you'd
Yeah.
get, or in Oklahoma, you would, you know.
It was all
So,
around.
so I had this thing where I associated bands like AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, like with the guys that were always trying to beat me up in their trucks.
Yeah.
So I dismissed Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and like things like that because I had this association in my brain that so I unfairly dismissed that music.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, you know, like especially in Roadside Monument, Doug is a huge Led Zeppelin fan, Pink Floyd fan. So we'd be in the van on tour and they'd be like, okay, let's try it again. Jonathan, check out this Pink Floyd song. I'm like, nope, not going to listen. Like, no.
Yeah.
Because of the association I had.
Yeah.
But then finally, you know, once you grow and get out of it, you hear Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, you're like, whoa, this is like really great.
Yeah.
It's insanely good music.
Yeah.
And I missed out on all these years.
Yeah.
When jamming out in the van with Doug and Matt to Led Zeppelin, having a great time, I was being like the stubborn guy, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a great moment in your life when you can get past, you know, those preconceived things you have about stuff, because it really does open your life up to all these like wonderful new things that, you know, and it's pretty rad to, you know, discover Led Zeppelin in your 30s. You know what I mean? That's kind of a treat, you know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, got to get rid of those, like, you know, that past stuff that holds you back, you know.
Yeah, and you know, and a lot for me, Jonathan, was my see, now you have that association. Mine was religious. So my mom, you know, kind of wasn't big on letting us listen to Led Zeppelin because, you know, a song was backmasked and said something, you know, evil, you know, or a lot of that stuff. So that was my association. And just as a middle son, I was very rebellious. So I would always search out those, you know, go listen to, find my friend who has AC/DC or Slayer or something, you know, because those were the bands I shouldn't listen to. So yeah. And then with that later on in my life, I didn't discover Queen till probably, I mean, to really give them a chance was like in my 30s. And I didn't realize how amazing Queen was. And Led Zeppelin, it wasn't until I really got in my 30s, like you were saying, like it was just all this stuff that just kind of opened up when I finally just gave everything a chance. Now that I kind of like, I don't have any restraints. I'm my own man. I mean, I can listen to what I want to. And so, I mean, I now listen to horrible things, but but like bands like that, like Led Zeppelin and stuff, you just really appreciate, man, if I listened to stuff earlier on in my life, how much more influential would it have been on me and my creativity up till now, you know? At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like what did I miss out on, and what, like, as a songwriter, it's like, oh, like, would I have like written different kinds of songs if I would have like myself in this? But you know, I mean, I'm happy with my trajectory, you know, musically, like I feel like, you know, it feels good, you know.
Well, you should, because you got quite the list of amazing albums that you're involved with. When you got to the Marionette and the Music Box, that floored me in a way, because that was something I was able to later on when I started having kids. I was playing that for them while they would sleep. And
that's awesome.
it was a switch between Sigaros, Marionette and the Music Box, and it sounds really weird, but Death Cab for Cutie's Plans album. But
well, whatever it takes.
Yeah, so many little different variety there. But man, yeah, you just got, and then with each album, I feel like it's just been getting better and better, and all have different feels. And I have to admit to you, my favorite song is from the White Ox album, and it's Night Diamond. I could listen to that song continuously for days on end if I need to, and it's just so beautiful and simple. And I don't know who influenced you or what influenced you for that one, but that one that's my absolute favorite Unwed Sailor song. So I want to throw that in.
That's cool. Like, a lot of people don't really mention the White Ox album. it's like the weird one, it's more ambient, and it's a little, harder. You have to like, it's not like the easy Unwed Sailor record. But yeah, I recorded that in Bloomington, Indiana with Dan Burton, who plays in Early Day Miners as well. And he played back in the 90s. And I remember a lot of that record was written on the spot. Like even the bass lines, I wasn't super prepared going in for it. I kind of wanted to see what would happen if I just got in there and just started figuring it out as I went along. And Night Diamond, I had the bass line for it. And I remember Dan and I went out to lunch at this burrito place. And it was one of those restaurants where the music's on, but you can only kind of hear the drum beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just kind of hear the beat real faintly, and then you kind of figure out what the song is. And I was like, oh, that's Crazy for You by Madonna. And the drum beat just sounded so cool.
Yeah.
Like real simple, like, away from the music. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, that would be really cool to do something like that on Night Diamond. And so we went back, and that's what we did. And it started it was like this really kind of 80s. It kind of was bringing out this like 80s couple skate vibe to me. Like, like a in the 80s, like with the ball, the disco ball. And it just made me feel like I felt back when I was at the roller skating rink, and it was like everything was in slow motion. People were skating slower.
Oh man.
And people's hearts were breaking because they were watching someone else couple skate with the person they liked. And other hearts were just enthusiastic because they were finally skating with the person they liked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, then there's the kids sitting in the corner just watching everything, like scared to get out there and skate. It just brought that whole world to me. So that's what I think about when I hear that song. But
that's really cool. I like that a
yeah.
lot. That's
hopefully
very fitting.
Ruin your perception of it.
But... No, not at all, man. I honestly just it's that kind of where I literally will just either play it outside as I'm sitting in the backyard, and I will literally look just up at the sky and just let it like just take me wherever I go, or I'll just be in the bedroom and I'll just start writing. Whatever just kind of it brings out of me, and I just start writing sometimes, because I used to write poetry a lot when I was younger, and then I kind of stopped, but then I get inspiration, and again, just throwing constant love your way, but just your stuff just kind of hits me sometimes, and I just will just start writing, just brings it out of me like I used to. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it helps that you be creative.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure you get a lot of that. I do want to throw a couple of memories at you, if that's all right.
Sure.
A little side talk here, but so my first visual of you was at some sort of Tooth and Nail concert. I can't remember where it was, and I can't remember when it was, but I think it's right when 8 Hours from Being a Man was just released. And it was an outside venue. It was you guys, a bunch of other Tooth and Nail bands. Remember Living Sacrifice played, and you were the first band, I believe. And you came out, and Doug was off to your side, and Matt was behind. And if I remember correctly, your microphone was up exaggeratedly high. And then you guys played Sperm Ridden Burden in the first couple of notes, and then you started screaming at the microphone. I'm looking at my brothers going, this is the best thing ever right now. Yeah, and I was just like, this is amazing. And my brothers and I were just ate that up. And I know it sounds weird, but that's what stood out to me that one time. Two more things. You were playing at Coos Cafe.
Oh,
and yes, I love that little spot. I got
Yeah.
to see Hum there play when they were huge, and everybody was just compact in that little space.
Yeah.
So crazy.
that was great spot.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. Lots of great memories, including seeing you guys play. The band I was in at the time, we were called Solace. We all went to see you play, and I love how intimate that was and awkward it was. And you were playing the last song. I can't remember what song it was again. I have a horrible memory, but you were playing the last song, and you guys are going absolutely ape crap, all just like normal, which is great. And then at the very end, you broke all 4 bass strings, and you were bleeding. And my bass player in my band, his name's Jonathan, he goes, whoa, I've never seen that before in my life. Holy crap, what just happened? But it was like, how in the world do you break 4 freaking bass strings? Did you do that commonly, or was that just in the moment? Or?
No, that just being in Roadside Monument, those were like intense shows, and if you let yourself get away, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I would, in that band, I would break bass strings unintentionally, intentionally. Yeah, I don't know. There's just this aggressive element in that band, especially, like in Sperm and Burden or Thermometers, or that, I mean, you're just playing that music, and it's, stuff bubbles up and you just let it go, I mean, that was just my natural reaction to do, just my expression of what I was feeling in that band and the music. Yeah, that was an aggressive band for me. Like, it was good for me, I could like get up and like let that music move me, to throw my bass against the wall or swing it around or bass strings off or whatever. It was really therapeutic.
Oh yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely. And it's funny because the other one I remember, my brother Billy was pointing out, because I asked him about, like, do you remember anything from the concerts we saw and stuff? And he remembers when we went and saw you guys play with Frodis, and you guys ended up having like a shoe fight.
We did.
Yeah. I forgot who was playing and started it, and then you guys would end up switching. Maybe it was Matt ran in and he would start playing drums with Frodis, or you guys kind of switched instruments too or something, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there was just a shoe fight that just happened between you and Frodis. I don't know. Do you remember that at all, or?
I don't, but I'm sure it was Jason Hammaker, drummer of Frodis, started that. That sounds like that guy, he was always starting something, like, which is what's so great about him. I mean, he's hilarious. That guy, like, yeah, everyone should like be able to spend a day with Jason Hammaker. Like, it will change your life for the better. Like, you'll be so inspired to live the rest of your life, and you'll laugh harder than you've ever have, and be the most embarrassed you've ever been. Like, he's just such a cool guy.
I love that. That's so cool. Is he in anything? I haven't followed them in years. Is he doing anything new?
Yeah, he's in. Well, he had a band. Yeah, he's in a band, and it was like right before COVID. They were really kicking off.
Oh.
I don't know what genre of metal you would call it, but it's like heavy metal, like black metal or something. They were playing with, like, doing shows with like Pig Destroyer and and stuff. But yeah, they were like picking up and doing stuff, and so I'm sure they'll pick it up, once we're in the clear. But yeah, he does so much stuff besides music too. Yeah. If you like Google Jason Hammaker, like, I'm sure he's all over the place. Like, he's like out there changing the world. He's like He's amazing.
I'll have to do that. And honestly, I think I will look that up because they were such a fun band to see live too, and it was such a fun memory to see them playing with you guys, and you guys matched up really well. It was a fun.
Yeah, they're still buddies today. Like Shelby and Jason, like they're both friends still.
That's cool. What was that?
This is the dark portion of
Well, Jonathan. So, well, how about this? Let's get more serious. Your entire life in 10 minutes. Well, actually, I said something to Names Without Numbers, and I mentioned something about during the COVID time. It seems like a weird thing to say, but and I'll throw it at you because of Look Alive felt that way, where because of the COVID, everybody's had a chance. A lot of musicians and artists and stuff have kind of had that time where they just all they got is time now. You have no excuse to put things on the back burner. Create now. Work on that thing you've been trying to get going for a while, whether it be a band or a song or whatever it is. And what comes out of last year to me was like Look Alive. It sounded like it was something that you kind of just sat down and worked on, and I think was that because of COVID you guys ended up writing that?
No, not necessarily. Because we finished that. COVID has really messed up my timeline. But we finished that record pre-COVID.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We were working on Truth or Consequences, the new record that's coming out in May. That's what we were working on when COVID hit.
Okay.
So my whole thing is with Unwed Sailor, I had a conversation with Dave Bazan from Pedro the Lion, and we were just talking about playing music in our lives and careers and all that. And we were talking about this idea of releasing a record every year. And when Dave told me that, it really inspired me to do that. And at first it felt kind of intimidating, like, can I do that? But I thought, well, I played music a long time. I write songs. Like, music is my life. It's like, if I'm not doing music, I'm really sad and I'm confused and I don't really know who I am. It's my voice. So yes. I thought, well, if all that is true, then why am I not putting out a record every year? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So I thought, I'm going to go for that. So I just really sat down and started writing and really focusing, and my brain just switched, and I became much more prolific with writing. And so Look Alive was like a quick one. Like I wrote, and what I'll do, I'll write out the structure and all the bass lines, maybe come up with some drum beats, maybe come up with some guitar parts, but the majority of that I leave to Matt Putman, who plays drums in Unwed Sailor, and Dave Spotzel, who plays guitar. So I'll write the structure and the bass lines, bring it to Matt, then we start working out, like, get the drum stuff down, and then usually Dave will come in and do guitar stuff. So yeah, I wrote those bass lines pretty quickly, and I remember thinking, like for example, the song Glaring, very like Joy Division, like
yeah.
And I was thinking, how does this fit into the Unwed Sailor catalog? It didn't. I didn't really understand it, but I went back to my whole my mantra is, if it comes out of me, then it's Unwed Sailor. I believe in it,
Yeah.
that's what, so I'm like, okay, this is what is happening with me, so I'm going to do it. And then Look Alive came, which is that weird kind of Killing Joke bass line or something, like real rhythmic,
Yeah.
industrial. So all of a sudden there's Look Alive, like this weird record that doesn't really sound like any other Unwed record, but yet it's still Unwed Sailor.
Yeah.
So we did that, and now with Truth or Consequences, the new record that comes out in May, it's Matt Putman refers to it as Look Alive and Truth or Consequences as kind of like brother sister records.
Oh, okay.
Records or brother records. They have some kind of interesting connection. Like they don't sound alike, but yet they're kind of in the same world. They were kind of recorded really close together too.
Yeah.
Matt and I recorded 90% of those records in our home studio. So yeah, they're kind of like these. I'm glad that they're coming out in consecutive years, because I feel like they kind of like come together in this weird way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Truth or Consequences comes out in May. Super stoked on Spartan. This is our first record with them, and they've been awesome to work with. They're really behind the band and working hard on getting everything together. And you can pre-order Truth or Consequences at spartanrecords.com. I think one vinyl variant has already sold out, actually, but there's still 3 other different vinyl variants you can get, and it's on CD and cassette, and there's t-shirts and all kinds of stuff too. So
yeah, I got the Consequences one. I really like to look at. Yeah.
Oh, that's sold out.
No, oh, there you go. It's really cool what they could do with vinyl nowadays. The look of all that, and the fact that you guys are doing cassettes, I think, is freaking awesome. I love that you're bringing that on.
Yeah, and John is super into, like, part of his creative aspect of putting out a record is he likes to design the vinyl variants. So he was like, hey, are you cool with colored vinyl and stuff? And I'm like, well, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, let me send over some I'll send you some like tests and so you can see what I'm doing. And then he sent over all that stuff. I'm like, whoa, dude, this looks great. Like, of course I want to do this.
Oh gosh, that's so cool, man.
So yeah, it's cool because it's cool when the record label like wants to be creative with you, but not in like an overbearing way or a way that they're trying to control what music sounds like or how you want to execute getting your music out there. But yet they are like, they want to throw in these cool like colored vinyl things, or it's just nice to have work with a label that you can trust in their creative input as well. So that's been pretty rad, working with John over there. We talk almost every day. So
no, cool. Well, yeah, even your promotions are looking fantastic. Like everything just looks so top notch. It's really cool.
Yeah, Spartan.
Yeah, well, and it comes out May 14th, I think, right?
May 14th. And you mentioned Blitz earlier. That's the latest single. That's already out on all the streaming services. And then our next single comes out March 12th, and that we'll have a video for that one.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool. It's a very interesting video. Well, I did do something like the video for the Heavy Age Records record, but it's a fun little video. It's cool. I'm excited for people to see it.
Yeah, cool, man. Okay, so I could ask one last thing before we go here. How much vinyl do you have behind you?
Well, are you familiar with the Discogs app or Discogs?
No. I think my brother is. I'm not, though.
Well, yeah, it's like a kind of a record store app that people can sell their records on, and you can buy records on. And it's like real collector oriented. Like you can get like really rare stuff. And you can get CDs and stuff too. But in your app, you can keep track of all the vinyl that you own, all the records that you own. And so I've slowly been going through and entering in, and I'm in the thousands.
Oh,
So I've got this behind me,
yeah.
but right where you're sitting is a whole other thing of that.
Wow.
Back in another room, I've got a whole other. Yeah, I've got a lot of vinyl. I've been collecting for many years. So
That's so cool, man. I think Billy Power is the only one I really see kind of showing off his vinyl here and there. But
well, I've got one here. Let's see, where is it? That I think you might be interested in.
oh,
You got to
there it is.
You got to really listen to this one.
Wow, you know, I tell you, I'm gonna check it out. I promise you.
Look at that album cover. It's
That's
so
really cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks even
And
like, I would say it looks even like now like it's something that's relevant, you know. There you go. Oh,
Great.
all the shirts off.
And see, they reissued this record recently on double vinyl. But I've also got one of the originals too.
Holy cow.
But yeah, man, great Hysteria, dude. Great record. Highly recommend.
I promise you, I'll check it out. I'll definitely give it some listens. But hey man, thank you. I can't thank you enough for your time. I think we're way past the time. I'm surprised they didn't cut me off yet, so which is really good.
Oh yeah, we're still recording up there, it looks like.
Yeah, that's saying. So I mean, I'm afraid to like keep going and then it just cut off. So I figure it might be a good time to just exit out then. But Jonathan, I can't thank you enough for your time, man. I really appreciate it, and I'm such a huge fan. My brothers and I are just huge fans of yours. And
Well, tell them hello for me.
Huh?
Tell them hello from me.
Oh, absolutely. They'll see this. I think they'll be very happy to know that you're saying hi.
Hi, brothers.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, so everybody check out Unwed Sailor on, I think you got all the social media, right? You're pretty much on all of it.
Spotify, Music, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Instagram, Twitter's, all
Instagram,
the
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. We're there.
You're there. And what?
We're there waiting for you.
Yes. And then yeah, you said was it SpartanRecords.com?
Yeah, SpartanRecords.com. You can pre-order Truth or Consequences, our new record. Or you can also go to the Unwed Sailor Bandcamp and pre-order it there as well.
That's right. That's cool. All right, man. Well, I thank you again, and hopefully we can do this again somewhere down the line. And and I'm not so girly nervous about all this, so I appreciate your time, man.
It'll be the next chapter where we get dark and
yes, we'll get a little more. Yeah, we'll get edgy.
Right. Right. Totally.
All right, Jonathan. Thank you, man. Have a good night.
Much. Bye.